So Ford and Lincoln switches have occasionally gone out for various reasons. On this car, I know it's the switch because I can get the motor to go backwards, and if I push this and wiggle it around, get it to just the right angle, I can get that to go up by playing with that until it gets in just the right position to make contact internally again. I'm going to try and walk through the process for getting this out. So before we get started on this project today, I want to make sure that everybody is aware that the seats, the driver and passenger seats in this vehicle do contain airbags or supplemental restraint system. And you can see that as evidenced by the yellow wire, which goes to the firing squib for the gas generator, and that airbag pack, as you can see, backs that claim up. All right, so what you want to do is not end up in a situation where you risk firing off. Well, that side curtain airbag would smash you right in the face if you were working over here. Follow the procedures in the Ford manual and before beginning work on the vehicle. I've already loosened this screw, and so this comes out fairly easily. This is that's a 7mm socket there. That up for good measure. And now we'll see if I can do this part with one hand. There is a clip on the top, not very easy to see, but basically this thing hooks up. There is a spring steel C-clip on the opposite side of this trim cover where my hand is, so I'm going to pull on that. Of course, these kind of tabs have a tendency to snap permanently. So we're going to just work that off. There it is. And that didn't break the plastic. And now we're going to go down. There. And so that's separate there. And now you can see there's our top hook. And when I have this off later, I'll show you the little spring steel C-clip at the bottom. Now the manual refers in the back to something called a scrivet, so screw rivet. We're going to get to that. Reach under here, and you're going to rotate a piece of plastic that you'll feel under here, sort of down. I might need to drop the seat to a reclined position. Yeah, that's how I did it earlier. All right, so I'm going to drop the seat to a reclined position and take a little bit of tension off of that. So that's still the function that works. Bring the seat down. All right. So that seat is way back. There we go. Now that comes off, you can see the shape of that, and so you can get an idea of the motion that you need to pull that. And our scrivet is, there it is, it's lower. Now I'm going to have to give this a pause while I use two hands to pull that screw rivet out. And here's a look at that. Make sure that you use a PH2 for that. And that's what we're working with there. A couple of connectors to remove here. Press the tab and give that a wiggle. Be careful not to break the rivets there. First one off, and now I'm pulling the second one. Again, pressing down, giving it a wiggle, and that one came out pretty easy. And now, that panel should... Oh, there was another... there's another clip right there. Fortunately, I didn't break that one. We have a small... we got a rivet holding that in, so we'll need to work that off with a set of needle nose pliers. As I've worked at this and gotten a set of long needle nose pliers under there, and I feel like I can pull it without breaking. Position the tool and camera. My compliments to everybody who can manage to do that. Alright, so as you can see, we got a little damage to the top of that connector, but I think the bottom is in good enough condition. Now, this whole part is loose. And I don't feel like messing with the seatbelt. I don't think I need to for this, because I have access to the entire module here. Alright, let's take a look at that part number now with this thing focused. 8 Alpha 5 Tango 14 Bravo 709 Alpha Charlie Whiskey. Alright, now I got these parts from Big 3 OEM seller on eBay. Yeah, same part number. Hey, look at that. I did get the driver's side, not the passenger's side. This is success. And something to note here, since this is a new unit, we actually get that little plastic rivet with the harness. With that trim piece removed, it actually makes it a little bit easier to remove the seat back, and so I'm going to demonstrate that while we're here. The manual describes rotating the seat cover back here. So we're going to rotate it off the clips. I've already loosened it, so you're not going to hear the clicks as the clips release, but we yank back on that, navigate around some of the trim, and you're going to feel some tension once you release the two little clips. There's a couple of U-channels up here, so now we've got it rotated just a bit. I'm going to slide that down. There it is. Yep, there it is. All right, that clip was partially engaged, and so I couldn't move it down. Now this pops out like that. And so what you're looking to do is you're trying to avoid breaking these U-channels here. We're going to begin the reassembly now. I have the new unit. So what you're looking for, there's a hole here, and there's an indexing pin there. Let's see if there's any other indexing pins. Yeah. There's one right there as well. I'm going to load the screws in off camera. So I've got the 4 fasteners in. The fastener down here, when I removed it, it brought a little piece, a little spiral of plastic with it, and so that was probably stripped out at the factory. So I got a little bit of contact adhesive down there. I think that'll work a little bit better than epoxy on this particular plastic. A lot of plastics really don't bond well with epoxy. And if I had to remove it for some reason, the contact adhesive will break free a bit easier than an epoxy would. So now, let's reverse some of those processes. So I'm going to clip it in there first. That was the last one. I clicked on the way out. And now that U-channel will bind onto the little lip there. I'm going to have to do a little bit of this off camera, but it's going to be the U-channel there. And then these 2 little spring steel clips will link onto that bar. Before I do all that, I'm actually going to check my electrical connections, so I'm going to get these in first. So the reattachment to the front part of the trim panel was rather unremarkable, and I don't have anything to really comment on other than just reversing the operations that you saw earlier up there. What I will say is that getting that scrivet in there is that's a little bit challenging if the seat is all the way down. So once you have your switch restored, bring the seat all the way up from where you might have left it while you were testing the functionality. And then you have the ability to get that scrivet in there, and this panel becomes much easier to work with. Right, for the last step, I'm having a little trouble getting the trim panel on the back of the seat. The real trick is going to be getting this in there to seat correctly. So in the end, I decided just to put one side's tab in permanently, because just kind of playing with that freehand, I'm not even sure how I got that tab out in the first place without breaking it. So I'm going to leave that other side just a little loose, so that if I ever need to pull this seat back, that tab, that one won't break on the way back out for sure, and that's what I'll use to reseat this in if I ever have to do something like this again.